Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Tin Man Score Channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'm reacting my third and final Spooky Vibes video, and this was titled Three Scary Dentist Horror Stories. So without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction rolling in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go.
I've worked as a dental assistant for over 5 years, and there has only been one incident that has made me want to quit my job. And this is it. I worked for a small dental practice in the New England area.
Okay.
It was small, but we had a good reputation, and we had a decent-sized clientele. Anyway, one day during midweek, it was super busy. I believe it was spring break, so many young kids and their parents were in to get their teeth taken care of. I was helping this one mother fill out a form when a man walked in. He instantly stood out because my first thought was that this guy was homeless. He had holes in his shirt, torn jeans, dirty, and his hair was all matted. I tried not to pass judgment as he walked up to the counter. I asked how his day was and how could I help him. The man looked at me, and I could instantly tell that he was not all there in the head. His eyes were glazed over, and he stunk to the high heavens.
Oh boy. I was about to say, she said something about it being spring break. This event happened, and there's a bunch of kids going in there to get their teeth cleaned or probably getting braces done. And this random dude that looks homeless and is stinking worse than a skunk walks in and don't even acknowledge the receptionist up front. That's a lot of red flags going off in my head. But I don't want to say anything or guess what that guy was going to do. So let's just continue with the story and see what happens, shall we?
He put his hands on the counter and said that he has a toothache and he needs to be seen immediately. I tried to be polite and asked him who his insurance was. He said that he does not have any. I told him without insurance that we would not be able to assist him. However, I did tell him about our in-house insurance and that if he signs up for that, then we can assist him. But he refused, and this seemed to have infuriated him to no end. He started to curse up a storm. He literally used every curse word and spat them at me. I told him he's going to have to leave, or else I will have to get the police involved. The man flipped me off and then stormed out of the building. Maybe 10 minutes went by. I'm going over some admin work on the computer when the front door opens and the man walks back in. I'll be honest, I was terrified. I thought that he had come back with a knife or a gun and was going to harm me. But before I could even process what he may or may not do, he stormed right up to my receptionist counter. He held out a pair of pliers, opened his mouth, and said, "Does your insurance cover this?" He then proceeded to pluck his teeth one by one. I remember being so shocked and baffled that I could not look away.
Holy Moses. This guy's really twisted in the head. If he's got a toothache and it really hurts him that bad, he would be willing to pull out every single tooth since they wouldn't help him. He could have done that earlier before he even decided to go to a dentist and cause that much mayhem up in the office. But I'd be scared too if he was coming back. I'd be thinking he had a knife or gun, like she said. That'd be a good point to get one of the staff members to call the police. There's a crazy guy in the office.
The man pulled out his teeth, some with veins and nerves still attached. He instantly started to bleed all over the counter and lobby floor.
Oh, God.
All the parents and children ran out of the building, concerned and terrified. I picked up my phone and dialed the police. All the while, this man was laughing and plucking his teeth with this massive bloody grin. And that's when he suddenly ran out of the building. I was afraid he was going to go after the parents and the kids. The police did arrive shortly after and secured the area. They ended up finding this guy's body 2 blocks away in an alley, dead. I believe the initial diagnosis was that it was a drug overdose. I just thank God that no one else was hurt. In all of my years working at this dental practice, I had never experienced anything so nightmarish, and I pray that I never do again.
Oh man, I hope you don't, because that really sounded awful. That man probably could have taken the pain no more. He decided to overdose on drugs just so he can kill himself. But man, if he wanted the dentist to look at his teeth, he should have just complied and filled out their in-house insurance thing, and then they probably would have taken care of him. Or just save the hassle, take the pliers and remove the tooth that was bothering you. You didn't have to go so berserk and pull out every single one of your teeth. I'm just glad I don't have to bear witness to any rude individual in a dentist office like that. Knock on wood. But anyway, let's get to story number 2, shall we?
Please, don't end up like me, and take my story as a warning. A few years ago, I was let go of my job. I was single and living in Philadelphia. At that time, I had this horrible cavity. But since I did not have insurance anymore, it was almost impossible for me to find a dentist to go to. Well, one night, I was scrolling on Facebook when I saw an ad for a local dentist in Philadelphia. They were new, and the ad said no insurance was necessary to come in. I honestly didn't do too much research other than reading the ad, because I had no money and I needed this cavity fixed. I called the number on the ad the next day and made an appointment for that weekend. They explained that I would pay nothing up front and that they can bill me in installments, which would be interest-free. This was all amazing for my broke ass.
Yeah, it's hard to come by a dentist or a doctor or any other health-related business that can do that, because a lot of them would just like tell you to either pay up front or you can pay half now at the desk and they'll bill you the rest if insurance don't cover it all. So I'm just glad this guy was able to find something reasonable.
Well, the weekend came, and I drove to the address that was on the ad. I'll be honest, I was sketched out by the location. It was in a terrible part of the city, but I ignored this because of the pain in my mouth, and I just wanted this cavity taken care of. The dentist's office was in a small lot. I parked my car and went into the office. It was pretty much empty, and I almost turned around because I thought there was no way this could be a real dentist office. That's when the head dentist, Dr. Fillmore, came out of a room and introduced himself. He apologized for the mess the place was. He said they had just moved into this location and they were still getting everything together, and that's why it looks unfinished. He walked me into another room and sat me down in the dentist chair. He said he was going to give me something that will make me a little drowsy, but it's just so I won't feel any pain. He administered me general anesthesia, and the last thing that I remember was that this was way too strong, and that's when I blacked out. I want to say that I woke up hours later. It was pitch black in the room. I was absolutely terrified. I yelled out for the dentist, but I could tell I was all alone in this shitty building. I tried to find my cell phone, but couldn't. I patted myself down for my car keys and wallet, but that was all missing as well. I stumbled out of the building. It was nighttime. When I looked out into the parking lot, my car was also gone. I had realized the mistake that I had made and walked to the nearest convenience store to use a phone. I dialed for the police and explained my situation. Unfortunately, no one was ever called for this. The dentist wasn't really a dentist. It was just a pop-up scam. Someone rents out a building, pretends to provide services, and then robs people. I never got my wallet, phone, or car back. I've since gotten a new job with good dental insurance. I don't live in Philadelphia anymore, and I like to think that I wouldn't make such a stupid decision again. I guess I'm lucky that they did not harvest my organs or take a kidney, or even worse. Be careful out there, everyone. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
That's just awful that happened to him. Once he said the building looked sketchy, like it was run down looking, I said, no, that can't be. A dentist office was set up in a nice looking building that ain't like falling apart. But I had a feeling that he was going to give him strong anesthesia just so he could knock him out and take all of his belongings with him. But man, if he had a tracker on his phone, he probably would have been able to get the police to look it up and find out where that guy is at, because that would make me pissed if somebody took my wallet, phone, and keys, and even the car, because that's just one cruel thing you could do to another human being. If you see an ad pop up for a dentist or some other business, always look it up on the Better Business Bureau, because sometimes it may be fake. And if they don't have no star rating on that, then you know not to trust them.
I work as a dental assistant in a small town out in Alabama. It's not the most luxurious job, but it does pay the bills. Anyway, I was working the late shift. I work in a dentist that takes walk-ins on the spot because of how slow business was at the time. I want to say it was around 7 p.m. on a Friday when this woman walked in. She could not have been older than 21 years old. She was pretty as could be, but her teeth were atrocious. I don't mean that in a mean or derogatory way, but her teeth were literally black with holes, and her breath was ungodly bad. She said that she was in the area looking for a new dentist and wanted to see if we could give her a quick cleaning of her teeth. I told her our first-time customer price and even offered a discount because of how bad her teeth were. She agreed to the price and followed me to my station. When she sat back in my chair, one of her teeth fell to the floor. She grabbed her mouth and looked utterly embarrassed. I told her not to worry about it, picked the tooth up, and put it on the side table. When I started going over her teeth, I realized they were worse than I expected, and I needed to go get the head dentist. I told the young lady, who had called herself Mary Bello, that I'd be right back. When I returned to the room, not even 1 minute later with her head dentist, Mary was gone. I walked back up to the front receptionist and asked if she had seen her leave. The receptionist said that no one had come in or out since we went to the back. We checked the bathrooms, the closets, and even the exit doors. Nothing. She was nowhere to be seen. But here's the strange part about all of this. The tooth that fell out of Mary's mouth was still on my table. Now, I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but directly behind our practice is a cemetery. On my day off of work, I took a stroll through it, studying the names on the gravestones, when I found a grave with the name Mary B., who died in 1918. Now, that could have been any Mary B., but it was the only Mary in the cemetery that I could find. We don't have cameras in our practice, but me and the front receptionist both swear on our lives that a young lady came in and was indeed real. I still have her tooth. Has anyone had any experience with the supernatural? If so, I would love to find out more information. Thanks for listening.
Okay, that is spooky. If a person that she said was real walked into the dentist office, and when they come back into that room that they put her in, and she's gone and all that's left is her tooth, I'll be like, she was here. See, there's her tooth. But then when you check the cemetery out back and turned out the name of one of the tombstones matched the lady that walked in, that will give me chills up my spine. I'll be like, here, analyze the tooth and see how old it is. Because if it predates to when she passed away, then you know. You can't say nothing because people will ridicule you about like, oh, you got a ghost patient coming in? Oh yeah, that'd be crazy. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn those post notifications for more spooky vibes content like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man's Quarter Channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and that's a wrap, and have a nice day, y'all.